Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Racing League Division Number Trace. We're going to go ahead and go through the final Austrian round here of the week before we turn our attentions to Spa Francorchamps in Belgium. I almost forgot what it was called there for a moment, even though it is probably one of my favorite tracks right behind the Red Bull Ring. So it's going to be a fantastic race here today. Austria is a track that rewards aggression and rewards bravery like no other circuit on the Formula One calendar. My name is Patrick Ullman, aka Rekus, and I will be one of your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. And alongside me, he's been here in Div 3 quite a few times in recent times. It is Daniel. How are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing pretty freaking awesome. Thank you, Rekkers. Commentated the chaos of Canada. I'm excited to see what type of chaos ensues around Austria, especially turn one and turn three. Is that, I don't know what turn that is, but I think it's turn three. But I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic battle here today. Turn 3, and then obviously you got the crazy turns of 9 and 10 to really go ahead and just go for it. So we're going to go ahead and just jump straight onto the circuit, and that is not the circuit. This is the circuit. This is the circuit you guys all know and some of you guys might love. We're going to go ahead and just see how it goes. But we do have 17 drivers on the field here tonight, but 3 of them do have quali bands. So there are some quali bands that we are going to go ahead and just talk about really, really quickly, and that will make qualifying a very tricky affair. So coming into qualifying, the 3 drivers with a quali ban. This time around, it is Tazio, Wogjet, and Rise, with Slushy, the Red Bull driver, having a race ban. So we only have 17 drivers on the field here tonight, but with that being said, it's going to be a fantastic battle coming up here.
Yes, yes. Cannot wait for the Brian and Bread, Mr. Bread. I guess he likes eating bread. Can't wait to see that battle unfold. Because there's a little bit of a gap. I think it's 10 points, 11 points. So everything is on the table here as Judgy Draw is going through the first sector. Does a 15-8, goes purple for now, but it's only opening doors, opens the DRS wide open, draining the battery to this next heavy right-hander, making sure not to get too much on the curb or go too wide into the gravel, because that's where you can mess it up. And now this corner, I had trouble in it in Div 2, if you guys watched yesterday. If you go a bit too wide, you clip that curb, you could go around. It has a 44.8 or 44.7. So one of the two, as he's coming around the final corners now, has a bit of battery left. Round the final corner, Juzzy Draw is going to drain the battery with the DRS wide open to the line. It does a 3.899, a 3.899. That's going to take Juzzy Draw to provisional pole as Huvu, is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm.
Goes 4 flat. You don't really see that often, but 3.9 already is sensational, Wreckers.
Yeah, and I mean that's actually really good. And Hivu exactly a tenth off of the time, and actually, Bucking Bronco is actually only 2.4 tenths flat off. So we're seeing some really punchy and competitive times so far in this session, as drivers are making their way through. Quite a few reserves here this round as well that we'll go ahead and talk about. Karubi is reserving in for Haas. So it'll be interesting to see how the Haas driver does. Drowsy Drought is actually reserving it for Alpine as well. Muzz is big. You've heard him in the commentary box. Well, partially heard him in the commentary box due to a tech issue on my end, actually. So he'll be reserving it for Ferrari. And Moe Nabs is in for Williams. So quite a few reserves here tonight, but I still think we're going to see some excellent action here around the Red Bull Ring because it has brought in so many good battles all throughout the week. Div 1 was fantastic. Div 5 last night was fantastic. Really good scraps all throughout. And I do have a bit of an insider source telling me that rain is a very there's a chance, not a big one by any stretch of the imagination, but a very slim chance of rain here at the track formerly known as the Austria Ring. This track has been through several different iterations, and I feel like it's actually been through more name changes than iterations here on the track. Who knows? We may see one of these other iterations that is used in a different form of motorsport utilized here as Nishka comes across the line. He'll jump up into P2 by a thousandth away from the provisional pole set by Jazzy Drought. We are seeing some punchy times here.
Yes, as Cristiano retires, I'm pretty sure he's serving a quali ban. He's one of the 3 people to serve him. As Daz has actually gone purple sector 1 in the Ferrari. I'm watching him now. Starting sector 2. Let's see what his second sector's like. It's purple. It's session best with a 45.4. Looking to go quicker than Jazzy Draw. But Nishka, 1,000th, or not even that. So it's pretty tight for pole, but does make it even tighter. Does to the line, no. He goes a 4.8 and P11, but as Toe pops it up to P4, the top 4 is separated by not even a tenth and a half, I don't think, Rekez.
Yeah, just about a tenth and a half separates the top 4 here, and I have seen a question in chat. Whew. We are really treating poor Nishka like the Lando Norris of Rush. At least, let me say 2024 Lando Norris in Rush. The bottler accusations they're just not going away. In chat, there's somebody asking about, will this be another Nishka bottle? That
Oh my
is
god. That's just, I don't know what to say about that one. You know what? I'm gonna answer that, and I'm gonna go maybe.
the Nishka slander will be tolerated, but it's pretty funny nevertheless. But yeah, I mean, I think Nishka's got a good chance here. I think he's got a pretty good chance of doing the opposite of bottling. I think he'll have a pretty good run here as it sits. Yeah, I don't think Nishka's gonna bottle. Um, this will be
You don't
another
reckon?
comms bottle. Elaborate on that. Elaborate on comms bottle, because I think that'd be a fun prediction here towards the end of season to try to rack up those channel points. Nishka will not break his streak. Wow, there is a lot of people doubting Nishka at this stage. Now watch, Nishka is gonna absolutely lock in and dominate here at the Red Bull Ring. Watch, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Just because everybody's doubting the Mercedes driver.
I've just discovered something as well. If you look at Huvu, he's done a 4 flat, and then if you look down to Moe, he's in P14, he's done a 4.9. So, third down to 14th is separated by not even a second. So that's how close Div 3 is as well. Okay, that's interesting. As Abhishek actually pops it up to P3 by 5 thousandths. My god, this race is close. What? I was not expecting this, but okay, sure. This close, Rekez, my goodness.
Yeah, only 500ths of a second between Abhishek and our pole sitter. But Huvu was sending some purple sectors. He was improving at a point where he would have jumped into pole, but he just was not feeling that lap. something about, oh well, invalidation, that would check out. So he was feeling like he could do something, but I guess that turn 9 to 10 is such a crucial spot for invalidating yourself. I mean, those and also taking the turn 3 extremely tight. Those are all probably the three biggest hot spots on this track to get track limit violations and probably a good amount of pens. We'll probably see a lot of pens here tonight due to track limits. So we'll see how it goes. Track limits, particularly through turns 9 and 10, are extremely rough around the circuit because you carry so much momentum into those corners that it can really just be a bit of a rough go if you just aren't careful and really just unpracticed is really going to be it. Nishka now does jump up into pole position. A 103.768 is now at the top of the timetable. Is 1.3 tenths of a second away from Jazzy Draw, who's currently on that lap. Riding on board now with Hennessy, as Hennessy is now making his way through. And he's going to go ahead and come through the beginnings of Sector 2, making his way through the can tab, as I like to call it, because it's like the tab on the Red Bull can, as we're at the Red Bull ring. He's not improving, though. He is about 2 tenths off of his personal best. And now he's making his way through Sector 3. And, yeah, he's going to come into the pit, so he won't be finishing out that lap. As we do have about 7 minutes left to go here in the session. So we are seeing, and actually, we're actually seeing a bit of a battle in chat between Alpine versus Mercedes. Do you have a preference here, Daniel? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh no, I hate it when people do this to me. Put me on the spot. Alpine versus Mercedes? So where's Alpine currently sitting with Bread? P5? Where's his teammate? Does he have a teammate this week? No, he doesn't, unfortunately, for Bread. But for Mercedes, they got both. They've got both drivers.
Bread has a teammate.
Oh, he does. Juzzy. I didn't see him. Oh, it's quite equal at the moment. It's, you know what? Since I dislike Antonelli, I get it. Sue me. I've gotta go with Jazzy. Jazzy draw. He has to find almost a tenth and a bit. But I reckon he's gonna find that tenth and a bit. So give me Alpine. Give me Alpine Wreckers. But I want to hear who you go for. Alpine or Mercedes?
When it comes to F1, like watching like real life F1, I prefer Antonelli. Antonelli's the driver I'm rooting for to win the championship. Although I'm more of a Red Bull guy myself. But here in Rush, as long as it's good racing, that's what I'm looking for. And if Alpine and Mercedes, who are neck and neck in the overalls right now, I'm just going to be rooting for these guys to just give it their all. Because I think both teams are extremely capable. They all have some really good drivers. Breadman is a very talented driver! And Jazzy has a very talented drifter coming through turn 10. Very good save there from the Alpine driver. Nishka, I know he's got the bottle of allegations, but Landon Norris had the bottle of allegations, and he went on to be world champion in 2025. So I think he's going to do pretty good here tonight. Brian is also pretty good. So I think Alpine and Merck have some really talented drivers in Rush. But one thing I just now noticed is that Huvie and Jazzy are tied. So that is actually pretty nice to see. I love seeing tied times. It's a fun thing to see. So it is now down to the final about 4.5 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna jump into rush hour coming up soon. So for those of you who don't know, rush hour is the term of endearment that I give for the final minutes of qualifying. So kind of like rush hour on the highways, particularly here in America. And for those of you who maybe new, yes, Ruckus, myself, is American from the good old Sunshine State where the Miami Grand Prix is hosted. I-95 during rush hour, which is a massive highway that goes across several states. it gets really busy at rush hour, which is about lunchtime, or about 5 p.m. So when we get to qualifying here and the last parts of quali, it gets extremely busy and extremely compact. Kind of like rush hour. And also we're rush racing league, so gonna use every pun in the book. But I'm gonna turn this one back to you, Daniel, as we get ready for rush hour. Any bold predictions?
Uh, predictions. Let's see. So, Jazzy draw, around about a tenth back, and then you. You know what? I've got. You know what? Bread. Give me bread. Give me bread taking pole. He's gonna come out of nowhere and take pole. Trust me. I get he has to gain around about what, 8, 9, 3/10. But I reckon he's gonna find those 3/10 and take pole wreckers. So give me bread. Give me the man that leads championship at the moment. Bread.
All right, that's your prediction. Nishka is a prediction in chat. And I think, I'm trying to see here because I think Abhishek has actually got a pretty good shot here. Hugh, I know, would love to do back to back. He would love to get 2 on the bounce, as Daz is now making his way through, trying to get ahead of traffic early on. Um, so Nishka is a prediction. Um, Brett is a prediction. Who is my prediction gonna be? Yeah, that's actually a bit of a tough one. Um, you know what? I'm gonna say Nishka's gonna keep pole. That's gonna be my prediction. I think Nishka's gonna keep pole here. Whether he keeps it going into turn one is gonna be actually not even really turn one. Turn three is really the hot spot for lap one overtakes here on the circuit. Daz is making his way through the final couple of corners. He's gonna run very nicely on the exit. And Ferrari has something to cheer about. Now we have Daz up in the P8, improving by quite a pretty healthy margin there. As we look on our previous Div 5 race winner, the winner from Baku, Mr. Hugh himself, trying to be gone with the wind here in qualifying. He's currently tied for second place, but Jazzy set the time first, so he will get priority there. And he's going to go ahead and make his way coming through the next couple of corners. This could be a very interesting one, as drivers are just really trying to find their place on the grid, and especially with next season coming up very shortly. They want to make their TPs some of them want to stick with their team, others want to get transferred to a different team. So it should be a very, very easy run here, and a very crucial run as well. Coming to the line, Hugh jumps to the top of the times with a 103.589. What a good lap there from the RB. Now, can we see anyone else make any improvements? How's Breadman going to do? He's coming through the Cantab. And now he's going to make his way.
Go, Bread. Go. Go, Bread. He's got purple. Come on, Bread.
He's going to make his way. Oh, no, he's coming to the pits. So he must have found something he didn't like in that lap. And now he's back into the pits. What about Jazzy? Can Jazzy do something here? What about Nishka? Nishka is on his way to the line. And Nishka jumps into pole position by 25 hundredths of a second. Can Abhishek have a response? Can Jazzy have a response? He's only good enough for P3. Hugh, he's got one more shot, but he's harvesting, so he's not going to improve here. So he's going to make his way to the line, but he's already invalidated, so no improvement there from the Racing Bulls. What about the Red Bull? Red Bull is going to go ahead and try to make his way into the... Oh, yeah, actually, Abhishek's into the pits. Toe now coming through, making his way through the last couple corners. He's actually already invalidated as well. So, Karubi, he's invalidated. Tyler, invalidated. So, that's qualifying done and dusted. My prediction did jump up to the top. Nishka on pole position.
Well, if Bread didn't bottle the final couple of corners, he would have taken pole. But he lost the rear coming around the final corners, so that's just massive unlucky. But congrats to Nishka for taking pole with a big old 3.5. So that's a pretty quick lap around Austria, not gonna lie. But that's something I wouldn't do. I wouldn't be able to go into the threes, but I'll hand it back over to you for the official qualifying thingamajigs. I don't know.
All right, so here are our qualifying results. It is going to be Nishka ahead of Huview, ahead of Jazzy, Abhishek, Bronco, Breadman, Toe, and then it is going to be Hennessy, Daz, Brian, Matty AU, Muzz, Karubi, Tyler Mendavy, ahead of Moe Nabs, Kauko, and Cristiano, who had a quality ban to serve. So there we go.
Hey, hey, W gifted in the chat. Customer relations with the one gifted. Shout out to you, mate. Well done. Not well done, but shout out to you, man.
We do appreciate the support here, so thank you so much for the gifted tier 1 sub there, custom relations. So it's going to be a fun one here, Daniel. This is going to be a fantastic Austrian Grand Prix. Rain is expected, at least slightly. There may be a slight chance of rain. Not exactly cloudy with a chance of meatballs, but rain could be a factor here in this one.
Ooh. Rain to spice thing up. Well, I cannot wait for that. And the main thing is, what tyres does everyone go on? This is a 36 lap race where the tyre wear is very crucial. So I reckon we'll see some people opt for the hards and some people maybe for the mediums. But I'm excited to see what happens into turn 1 wreckers.
Turn 1 is going to be a very interesting prospect here. I think a lot of drivers are probably going to start on the medium, I would say, or might even be kind of a 50-50 split. A two-stop has been kind of the main strategy here for this track. I'll be curious to see what it's like in Spa, because in Spa next week is going to be the same thing, but we have those 5 red lights coming on, and it is lights out, and away we go here in Austria. We're already seeing some moves being made here. Jazzy already trying to get one onto Huview. Oh, Huview's getting turned around a bit. Red Bull on Red Bull contact, and that is Abhishek and Huview dropping down the order like a stone in the opening stages of the Grand Prix. And that is very rough stuff there for the get-go. The most recent race winner in Rush in Div 3 has already been taken out. Karubi getting a 10-second time penalty for cutting a corner and gaining a place. He didn't give that position back. You only have a handful of time to give that position back before getting slammed. So he'll be serving that one in the pit stop. So the mechanics will have to wait about 10 seconds before they can even touch the car to go ahead and swap out those tires. Speaking of tires, everybody's on the mediums to go ahead and kickstart this Austrian Grand Prix. So it's probably going to be between a medium hard or medium hard. It's probably going to be the strategy here, or maybe somebody might go medium hard medium. Don't really see that one happening too much, but I mean, very interesting stuff, very chaotic here in the opening lap. But Hugh is already making up a ton of positions. He's already back up into P13 here, Daniel.
Yes, very, very unfortunate stuff for Huvie and Abhishek. Red Bull on Red Bull contact. But from what I remember, Div 2, in my race in Div 2, I think I did a medium hard. I think that's what I did, medium hard. So I reckon that's what we might see, Wreckers. But that was my race. But completely different race, completely different day. The strategies might be mixed because of the rain that's forecasted as the insight information from a localist not too far from the track. But yeah, very very chaotic start. But as you can already see, the DRS train has formed. What can Jazzy Draw do? Can he take the lead on lap 3 of 36? He's gaining. Is he going to send it down the inside? Yes, he is. Down the inside goes Jazzy Draw. He takes the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix as Daz is off into the grass. But here comes Nishka. Nishka's looking for the crossover. He's got the DRS. Nishka's looking down at the inside of Jazzy Draw. Can he take the position back? The answer is going to be actually maybe, because they're still side by side. But Nishka gives Jazzy Draw the position. Jazzy Draw into the lead on lap 3 of 36. Requez.
Yeah, I want to also give a massive shout out to SJ, who has been gifted actually quite a few tier 1 subs here. So spreading the love here as we are down to the final 5 rounds of season 10. It's crazy that we have actually just been here. We've already been through. This is round 14 of the season, mind you. So we already most of the way through the season. We got Spa, Monaco, Zandvoort, and Silverstone left. As Nishka now is going to try to make a move up the inside, coming into turn 3. He's going to be late on the brakes. He's going to try to get to the apex, but he does have the apex. Just not quite enough momentum. This is a track that really, it rewards aggression and risk-taking. This track operates on the principle of high risk, high reward, and you gotta just go for any kind of gap that you can see here. The Ayrton Sedical that everybody tends to use to varying degrees of accuracy. I mean, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. That is basically the key philosophy for going on this track. Or, in more American terms, wear gap car. I believe that was said by a NASCAR driver here recently. I think it was Carson Hovacar, I think is the one that said that. I could be wrong. I don't.
Wow, you. Sorry to interrupt you. It's Carson Hocevar, Requez. He won Talladega. I watched it, bro. What was it? Monday morning for us Australians. I watched him win that. That was his first ever Cup Series win. So, real proud of him. And the winner around Talladega, I mean, like, kind of have to have skill. It's basically like Formula One. Like, you have to have skill to know and when to go for the gaps. And he had all that skill. So, don't know what to say, but Carlson, if you're watching, which I doubt, but, you know, you never know. But if you are watching, congrats to you, mate. Well deserved.
Yeah, despite being American and NASCAR being like the American motorsport, I don't really watch ovals that much. I mean, sometimes it shows up at work, but speaking of work, Huvie is putting in the work and trying to claw back all these positions. He is up at a P10 from getting spun on drop down to P17 in the early stages of the Grand Prix. As now Huvie is going to go ahead and try to close in the gap. The number 36 Visa Cash App Racing Bull trying to close in the gap here. Oh, he's going to get really close. Trying to maybe make a move around the outside of Tyler Mendavy. Not quite going to happen. That was a bit of a optimistic attempt there from the V-Carb. As Muzz is actually going to get promoted to 14th after some pit stops. Kauko and Moe just coming through the pits. And as it is going to be Jazzy still trying to chase down Nishka for the lead of the Grand Prix. Toe not too far behind though, looking to put pressure on to Bronco. As we have drivers just fighting all the way through the field. Breadman currently in P7 at the moment, trying to chase down the sole papaya car of Hennessy. As Hennessy is going to go ahead and just continue to try to run away here, try to close in that gap to Matty AU. We'll see if he can get the job done here. But like you said earlier, Daniel, there is a huge DRS train being formed here at the circuit from P1 all the way down into P7. Everybody is well within that DRS train. and they're probably going to go ahead and stay there for a while. We'll see. There's a few drivers who have made pit stops. Muzz, Kauko, Moe, and Daz have all made pit stops. I'm assuming those are all probably for. Well, you have to take tires every single pit stop, but I believe those are all. It feels like it'd be a bit early to try to run a pit stop, but maybe they're going for a more aggressive strategy. Um, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. And also, I feel like I'm gonna absolutely mispronounce your first name, but Hussey, thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you for your first time here. And yeah, actually, and yeah, I mean, you can just support whoever you want. I mean, that's the beauty of sim racing is you can find somebody. Well, beauty of motorsport in general, you can find someone and just kind of latch on to that driver to be that driver that you support. And honestly, it's all valid. Everybody, everybody is worthy of support, regardless of what team they drive for. Whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Haas fan, Sauber, Mercedes, Alpine, Ferrari, Red Bull, V-Carb, you name them, then, I mean, they're all drivers worthy of being supported. But here's a battle that is worthy of every sort of praise. Nishka and Jazzy duking it out here for the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. And that is going to be just good racing there from Nishka, from Jazzy. Good, aggressive, but clean. That's going to be the crucial part. Clean is definitely a very important adjective that we have to throw in there.
Yes, clean.
Oh!
They're gonna both side into the pit lane. That's not gonna work.
Oh no!
Wow, that's not gonna work. But it did somehow manage to somewhat come out clean. But Jazzy Draw, Bronco, Matty, Toe are all looking for the undercut. But if you were watching earlier on, they were a part of the DRS train that was separated by not even a tenth back to seventh. So they're all looking for the undercut on each other. But let's see if Nishka responds this time around. But here's the thing. Look at the two Alpines. They've come out side by side practically. Bread and Jazzy Draw have come out side by side, but I don't reckon they're going to hold each other up. But back to Nishka. Let's see if he comes in to the pit lane this time by to maybe react to that undercut. Does he come in or does he go out another lap? He stays out. He goes around again. This is going to be massive. Let's see if the two Alpines can somewhat make up time on those fresher tyres than Nishka. But overall, pretty chaotic pit entry in first pit stops, Wreckers.
That's a rule breach as well, so I think Toe is going to get hit with a slam dunk penalty there for trying to overtake in the pit lane. That is against the rules. I know in some tracks you can actually somewhat get away with it physically. Like Qatar is a track that you can get away with that, but it's against the rules, so you are likely going to get hit with a penalty in trying to do so. So that's definitely going to be under investigation, but I'm pretty sure amongst the stewards that's probably going to take hardly any debating. That's probably, when it comes to stewarding, and I do respect all the stewards that do all the hard work, the stewards probably have the most unenvious job that you could possibly have in sim racing or racing in general. But yeah, I gotta respect them. They go through so much stuff, and making sure that everybody is held accountable, all the rules and such are followed. It's definitely something I don't envy. I definitely prefer being here in the commentary booth. That's for certain. But a lot of times there's a lot of gray areas that can sometimes happen with the track limits and who did what. But I think with Toe trying to go ahead and get the pass done in the pits, I think that's pretty much black and white. I think that's a slam dunk penalty. But we'll see. I'm not a steward. And quite honestly, I don't plan on being a steward any day soon. But with that being said, the two Alpines are going to try to work together to try to close in the gap. Now, Nishka and Hivyu, well, actually everybody in that top four who is still running on that same set of mediums, they may They may be trying to go for a one stop here. It's a bit of an optimistic call as the two Alpines are going to go ahead and swap positions here. Jazzy getting the move done onto Breadman. And Toe and Matty AU now trying to go side by side for a little bit there, coming through turn 4 and such. So we're going to see how this one pans out. And actually, we see Toe getting right in the slipstream, trying to get a good toe off of the two Alpines. Karubi's in the pits. He'll be the first one from that top 4 to jump into the pits. So he'll probably chuck on a set of mediums. And I think the strategy that you were talking about earlier was going to be the right call here, Daniel. The medium to 2 sets of hards. Probably going to be the strat for a lot of drivers.
Yes, very likely now as we move on to the second half of the race. Still yet to see the rain that was scheduled, but it may come later on. But I reckon what Breadman's gonna do, he's gonna do a Ryan Wood and Chaz Mostert from last year Adelaide, which I was at in person, by the way. So you might see Breadman make that Alpine as wide as he can to let Jazzy run away and get this win, because he is in the prime seat for that undercut when Brian, Huvie and Nishka come down into the pit lane. But overall so far, pretty good stuff. But as you see from Jazzy drop back to Tyler Mendaly in P10, the DRS chain has formed again. You can't go one lap without being in a DRS train, Rekkes. So that's just the rule. That's just a rule around Austria. You can't not be in a DRS train.
Pretty much, especially with all the DRS zones being extremely powerful here at the Red Bull Ring. And yeah, if you lose that DRS, you're pretty much cooked. Cooked, fried, baked, whatever term you want to use. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time for you. However, I do see the chat saying that it is going to be that the top 3 have definitely lost out the race. I beg to differ, actually. I think they are trying to manage it out to go for the one stop, which is a tough one. We've seen, I think it was Div 2, where there's a handful of punctures and near punctures from drivers trying to pull off that same strategy around this track. But it is overcast, so the track won't heat up as quickly. So, but also, I mean, we haven't had one yet, and fingers crossed we don't get one. But I think some of these guys might just be waiting for that safety car. Because, I mean, it is a track where, like we've said earlier, aggression really pays off. But that aggression can be dialed up a little too much, and then you can cause some damage. So we're going to jump on board with Toe here real quick as he is chasing down the two Alpines. And we're going to see if the Haas driver can make up some inroads here. Toe, and you can see the car kind of porpoising its way through the can tab as they now make their way down into turns 9 and 10. He's still going to have a good run of things. Trying to close in here. Got some good pace. Got a fair amount of battery left. As he's going to go ahead and just try to tuck on in and try to get a good slipstream down here. Heavy's in the pits. He's going to jump onto a set of hard tires. As Toe now is going to take a very wide exit. And yeah, we'll see. I think he's closing in, but he doesn't have the same pace as the two Alpines, I believe. So, I mean, this could be a bit of a tricky one for the Haas driver to really make up room. Matty AU, although he does have a penalty, he's pretty much right there, and he's got some pretty decent pace in that Aston Martin. Just going to check in and see how many positions drivers have gained and lost. Although Brian still is yet to pit. Brian has gained 8 positions here so far. Matty AU is up 5. Cristiano, who had a quality ban earlier, is up 6. and Calco is up 4. And then a few drivers have moved up 2 positions. One driver's moved up 4. The driver who's lost the most tonight is definitely Abhishek. He's dropped 10 positions here. As now pit stops are happening. Brian is now making his way into the pits in that Mercedes. And the clouds are definitely coming in. That is definitely something worth noting, is that the clouds are starting to roll in. The track is getting a bit more overcast, and rain. It wasn't a very high percentage chance of rain hitting the circuit, but it was definitely something worth noting. And if it does hit, it is probably only gonna escalate to running those green walled intermediate tires. It won't go on the full wets, but I mean, who knows? Anything can happen here in motorsport.
Yeah, anything can happen. If you want the heavens gates to open, they'll open without any issues. But yeah, like you said, those green intermediates, we could see them coming into the field of play very soon, as Toe takes a very wide line through that corner. That'll be a warning. But as you see, Jazzy Draw starting to run away from his teammate Breadman. That's not going to be very good for his Alpine teammate and the current championship leader. Because if you look where David is... Brian. Brian! Not David. Where'd I get David from? Brian, he's all the way down in P13. So at this point in time, Breadman has the championship lead because Brian is not outscoring him. But back to Nishka, that gap, 13.8 seconds. That's going to be very tight, as you see the current race leader is going to dive to the right and go into the pit lane. This is going to be very crucial. Is Jazzy Draw going to get the beneficiary of the undercut? Here comes Jazzy Draw around the final corners. Nishka just entering his pit stall now. Off goes the mediums, on comes the set of hards. Through goes Jazzy Draw. But Rekkers, look at this. It's an Alpine 1-2 as we start lap 18 of 36. This is played very, very good into the Alpine's hands. As you see Toe right behind. But for now, it's an Alpine 1-2. But Nishka, he came out in P7. He's got fresher tyres than the whole of everyone in front of him. So look for Nishka to start gaining back on the two Alpines and everyone else in front of him. But Rekkers, look at this, mate. Alpine 1-2. You said Mercedes, right? Well, Alpine's currently on top, baby.
Alpine has certainly seemingly got the upper hand here at this stage of the race, but something to consider as well, Nishka is seemingly locked into the one stop here, so maybe the one stop might play into his favor. I mean, if he's going for a two stop now, then yeah, he's definitely lost the plot, and the Alpines are really in the driver's seat right now. And here's the thing about the Alpines, right, is that they have the advantage. It is an Alpine 1-2 at the moment, like you said there, Daniel. So with that being said, Toe might be able to disrupt stuff, but he's going to probably have a post-race penalty. So in that case, speaking of penalties, we see a few track limit penalties coming on through for Karubi and Abhishek. Having penalties here as Hugh still making his recovery drive up the field. He has gone past Tyler Mendavi now, up into P8. He started in second, dropped all the way down to last after contact with Abhishek in the opening stages of the Grand Prix, literally lap 1, turn 1, essentially. So, and I'm seeing now in chat that they're talking about a comms only race. Maybe postseason. We might do that postseason. Although, I think Phoenix is right. I think I'm legit myself. I'm like the only non-racing commentator out of everybody. Everybody else races at least at some point. You race in Div 2, Daniel. SJ races in Div 5, I want to say. Phoenix just got added to Div 5 as a reserve. Muzz is on track right now. currently a P16. He is a Div 4 driver, I believe. Kaus races in Div 5. So, okay. So, well, yeah, I mean, almost every commentator races except for Rekus. Because everybody knows I am in Div 9. All jokes aside, it is lap 20 out of 36 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. Alpine firmly in the driver's seat. Karubi is retired in the pit lane. So we are down to 16 drivers. So, and correction, SJ's in Div 4. Correction. So, apologies on getting that little statistic wrong. And I think he raced in Div 5 last season. I think that's where my brain picked up that number from. Bronco is trying to close in the gap to Hennessy, as kind of like we were earlier. A lot of people were in that DRS train. But from P1 to P7 yet again, Nishka on fresher tires though, he's going to make the move. Hennessy and Bronco in the pit, so that'll bring Nishka up 2 spots. That'll put the Mercedes driver back into the top 5. 1.7 seconds away from Matty AU, the Aston Martin driver who does have a penalty for track limit violations. Only a 3-second though. Abhishek has currently 6 seconds. Kind of a different scenario comparatively to. Oh, here we go. It's gonna be a move for a podium here. Matty AU going for it. Muzz gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but Matty decides to back off and wait for it. And here we go. It's gonna be a good run here, coming down into the can tab, as I forgot my own term there for a second. Matty AU now trying to chase down Toe, chasing down Breadman as well. So we're having some pretty good fights for these positions. Looks like one of the Alpines is going to make the call for the pits, and that is going to be Breadman jumping into the pits. So Breadman going to try to go in and get a bit of a undercut here on some of these drivers. Yeah, Nishka is pretty much just locked into the. I think he's kind of locked into the one stop here. Now we're going to see Nishka try to get one on the Matty AU. It's going to be a drag race, actually. Both of DRS coming up to turn 3. Who's going to win the drag race is going to be the question. Bit of a break lock up there, and it is going to be Nishka back up into P3 here as we continue on.
Yes, very crucial of this race. Nishka, like you just said, locked in the one stopper. So let's see if he can somewhat climb back up to the race lead. But he's got someone's toe in front of him. But let's see if he can make quick work of him as he is gaining on Toe. And Toe's gonna say, you know what? I don't want to battle this guy. He's on a different strategy to me. He dives into the pit lane. Matty AU follows him. But the crucial point is, Jazzy Draw, the late race leader, also dives into the pit lane. But let's watch his teammate Breadman, who is stuck behind Hennessy and Brian. Actually, he's made work of Hennessy. No, not Hennessy. My brain's going mental tonight. But the sole McLaren, as his teammate of Jazzy Draw, comes out right behind him. So it's very good for this race. Brad looking down the inside of bucking Bronco. I guess he's a Broncos fan. Don't know how they do in the NFL, but don't really care about that. But Jazzy Draw looking down the inside of Bronco. Can he get the move done? There is a 2-lap tyre advantage going Jazzy Draw's way. They're still side by side into the can cracker thingamajig, whatever you called it, Riquez. But Cantab, there you go. As Jazzy Draw has made quick work of the Sauber driver. Now the Alpine's running a line of sturt. Hennessy and Brian in front of him. Then you got a big gap to the top 2 of Huvie and Nishka. Huvie, who got in a crash with Abhishek earlier in the race, has managed to climb himself back up to P2. Well, great race by him. But let's look to this massive DRS train. It's Brian all the way down to Matthew in ninth.
Ooh,
But
late on the
let's look back
brakes.
up to the front. Oh, late on the brakes by Brian. But Hennessy looking to go around the outside. There's contact between Hennessy and Brian. More contact. What, guys? Calm it down. There's still, 10 laps to go. But look at Brad looking to go around the outside of Brian as we go into Cantab corner. Breadman looking down the inside of Brian. Can he get the move stuck and done? Yes, he can. Now his teammate of Jersey Draw's got to follow him through. But this is mental so far, Rekez. This battle is popping off.
That's why I love the Red Bull Ring. It's a track that basically encourages wheel-to-wheel racing. It is classic racing at its finest. And actually, Hugh is trying to make his way back up to the race lead here. I think he's another driver kind of locked into that one stop. Although he's got another about 12 laps to go. More like 11 and a half now at this stage. 11 and a half laps left to go here. And Nishka's on 3-lap fresher tires compared to Hugh. These two, I think, are kind of considering the one stop here. And to answer your question about how the Denver Broncos are doing in the NFL, it is off season, so everybody is pretty much not doing anything at the moment. Go Jaguars, by the way. You know, I know kind of they're kind of like Aston Martin. Sometimes they have a really good season, and other times AMR 26. But all jokes aside, Hugh now trying to put some pressure onto Nishka. And, I mean, this would be one of the most... I mean, this is already a very impressive drive from Hugh. He started, I think, in the same position. I'm going to just fact-check myself really quickly. So, yeah, no, he started at P2, got dropped down to P16 and 17 for a little bit due to some contact with Abershek in the opening stages of the race. Now he's back up at a P2, knocking on the back door of Nishka to try to go ahead and get one onto the Mercedes driver. And we'll see if he can go ahead and hold on here. We know Nishka has been very good on pace. Nishka wants to finally put the bottler allegations to bed, as it is going to be Hugh trying to chase down the Mercedes driver. The silver arrow has been flying very true here. The Archer not missing his shot, but Hugh, he's going to try to be gone with the wind and just try to blow on past Nishka. He's got the DRS. He's got the speed. Can he close in the gap? He's closing the gap, but he just doesn't get the exit that he needs coming out of turn one. But he's going to have slipstream again and the DRS. It's a powerful tool here as we are down to the final 10 laps of the Grand Prix, including the lap we are actively on. Lap 27. A bit of a snap there from Hugh as we are making our way downtown, as he is going to make his way into turn 4, getting ready to fight it out here. Now, with how these ground effect cards work, the Venturi tunnels are pretty much expelling a lot of dirty air right into the front of that V-carb, and dirty air through the only real technical sector on the racetrack coming through Cantab is going to be a tricky task here. So, it's tough to follow here. Tough to follow in these cars. I mean, it's easier than some tracks. Easier compared to, like, Suzuka or some other circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. But, with that being said, dirty air is going to make things a bit tricky. So, you really got to grab the Red Bull by the horns, essentially, and just drive the point home until you can get that overtake for the lead of the race. And no, before anyone asks in chat, we are not doing a comms karaoke night. That's just not gonna happen. Now watch, SG's gonna put a thing. It's like 50k channel points and comms do a karaoke session. I hope I just didn't give him an idea.
You bet he's already on it, Rickers. You bet he's already making it a thing.
I regret opening my big mouth. As a commentator, you're supposed to have a big mouth, but sometimes that big mouth does tend to get you in a bit of trouble, as it's going to be Matty AU getting a bit of a retake there on to the Haas of Toe. But Toe going to go ahead and just get back into that position. Matty, you just unable to stub Toe and just try to hold him back. He's just back into that P6 position. Hugh, though, he's doing it. He's doing something pretty smart. Um, he is gonna go ahead and try to close in the gap here, but he's not doing anything ludicrous. As I say that, he's making himself an ever-present threat in the rear-view mirrors of that Mercedes W16 as they make their way down into turn 4. Good on the brakes, and this is going to be a fun battle to watch between the V-Carb and the Mercedes.
Yes, yes, a very fun battle so far between Hugh, who dropped to the rear with contact with Albashek, then somehow struggled the middle part of the race, and then at the end of the race, he goes, you know what, I've actually got genuine pace, let's use it. And he pops himself back into P2. He's being pretty smart, not going for the overtake just yet, as we have 6 laps to go around Spielberg or Austria, or there's many different names for this racetrack. But massive snap by Nishka. Is that going to let Hugh ride the wind to victory? Is he going to make a stand? Yes, he is. Down the inside goes Hugh. And for the first time this race, he takes the lead at Spielberg. But Nishka looking to get the crossover. Who has the DRS at this point in time? He goes to Nishka. Nishka looking back down the inside of... And he gets that position done. Looking further back, we got Hennessy, Breadman, and Jazzy Drop all battling for the final spot on the podium. Hennessy, that was very close for contact between Bread and Hennessy. That was a very dangerous move by Hennessy. I don't know if that'll be a stewards report. We'll find out at the end of this race. But both Alpines running line astern yet again. But I think the top 2 have checked out at this point in time. So essentially in that battle pack, it's a final battle for the podium for P3. But at the moment, Alpine doesn't need to take any risks. They already have a good day. They've already scored heaps of points. More points than RB, I presume. But back up to the front, we got Nishka and Uvu battling it out with 5 laps to go.
Ooh.
But back with Bread, Hennessy, and Jazzy Draw. Breadman looking down the inside. Can he get P3 back on the sole McLaren driver? The answer is going to be yes. But look at Jazzy Draw. Jazzy Draw looking back down the inside. They're all line astern. They're all nose to tail. But here comes Jazzy. Can Jazzy get down the inside of Hennessy? Hennessy breaks late as well. Can he get the position? Side by side, going into Can-Tab corner, we're calling it now. As Jazzy does the crossover, down the inside goes Jazzy Draw. Hennessy sticking it side by side. They've been side by side the whole lap, wreckers. This is incredible. Contact between Hennessy and Jazzy as Jazzy gets through on Hennessy. Very good battle indeed for that final podium position. But Uvu looking to take the lead back on lap 32 of 36. Nishka yet again looking for the crossover. These two are just going to do it the rest of the lap, wreckers. So, you know what? I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, because these guys are going to continue battling tooth and nail, trying to get the win here. Nishka trying to put the bottler allegations to rest as we got 4.5 laps here to go. Huview trying to get back-to-back wins and the recovery drive of the season. And this is going to be a good battle to watch as these two are going to continue to scrap it out all through the Austrian mountains here in Spielberg, Austria, as they make their way through the track that has gone through several names over the decades. What started as the Ostrike Ring then became the A1 Ring and now the Red Bull Ring here. And it looks like it might even be back-to-back V-Carb wins here at the Red Bull Ring, because in Div 5, there is a V-Carb win from Axt. Axt actually got his maiden league racing win here just about 24 hours ago. Oh, Yuvi's deep on the brakes, though. He went a bit too optimistic on the brakes. He'll get a good shot to claw this back. He doesn't have the battery, though. Does Nishka have battery? Yes, he does. Nishka's got about over 0.5% battery, according to his steering wheel. So now, we're going to see Hugh try to claw back some of that deficit that he has lost here, as the McLaren of Hennessy trying to close in here. He's trying to close in. Oh, he's almost bump drafting the Alpine of Jazzy. We were talking about NASCAR a little bit earlier on. We're seeing some NASCAR tactics being played out here, coming through Cantab, as it is going to be a good run here. Hugh trying to close in the gap to Nishka. And is Nishka going to run away with it here? He's got fresher tires and probably a bit more battery to play with, as Hugh is probably going to be burning every ounce of battery here coming to turn 4. We'll see here. Oh, is it going to be a lunge? Nope, just once again, Hugh just getting a bit too late on the brakes there. And Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and pass this one over to you until the final lap.
Thank you indeed, Requez. Very phenomenal comms again by you. But as we look back, the two Alpines, I wonder if Brad's going to let Jazzy get a podium, or if the finishing order stays as is. But nothing going on between those two Alpines. I reckon they're going to be locked in for 3 and 4. Brad in 3rd, Jazzy Draw in 4th. But very good drive by both Alpines, scoring heaps of points, as Nishka is starting to open that gap as we begin the penultimate lap. Nishka is starting to run away. 1.1, 1.2 seconds is the gap between first and second. Nishka is looking to go back-to-back race wins. Let's see if he can manage that further back. That DRS train of the two Alpines, the Sol McLaren and the Haas of Tow. But I don't think the Alpines will be stressing too much, because Hennessy, Tow, and just Hennessy and Tow have penalties, so they wouldn't be too scared as of yet. But looking back, Brian, as Bucking Bronco goes down the inside of Brian, he goes very deep, goes Bronco, as Brian reclaims P7 on track. But very quiet laps from me as they come around the final corner. Records, it's over for you for the final lap. Take it away, mate.
All right, final lap here of the Austrian Grand Prix. Hugh is looking to make it back-to-back. He's looking to make it back-to-back Racing Bull wins here in Austria in general, and also Racing Bull with Kauko got the official race win last week in the Red Bull Baku. But Nishka now trying to put the bottler allegations to rest here as they continue to push on here. Nishka has not had a win in quite some time. The last time Nishka has a win in any pretense might have actually not even been this season. Actually, correction. Nishka hasn't won a race here in Rush since Las Vegas, round 6 of the season. He has had several opportunities come his way, but they have all been bottled. But this time, the bottle top pops off, and it is going to be Nishka now coming to the line. Nishka wins the Austrian Grand Prix. He will take P1. Hugh, what a heck of a drive to come back to P2. And the battle for P3 is still going to be red hot here. But I believe coming through turn 10, it is going to be Breadman taking a podium here. And it'll be Alpine P3 and 4. Massive points for the current overall championship leaders of Alpine. And Hennessy will actually keep his position despite the pens. He'll stay ahead of Tow. Brian's going to come across the line. Tyler Mendavy. And Cristiano also had a really good drive starting from the back of the grid due to a Qualiban has jumped up into the top 10. So, very good race from everybody here tonight. The Red Bull Ring delivering as always. And Nishka, P1 for the first time since Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes, a very good drive by Nishka. He started on pole and basically just said, you know what, let's just make it a dominant victory as we go through the official race classifications. But the question is who got driver of the day? It goes to Brian, the former championship leader, current championship leader. I don't really know until the end of this race. But as we go through the full race classification, Nishka takes the win, then Huvu back in P2. Then a very good day for Alpine, scoring almost maximum points. Breadman takes third, Jazzy Draw, his teammate, takes fourth, Hennessy P5, Toe P6, Bucking Bronco P7, Brian P8, Tyler Mendale, Davey P9, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sui P10, Matey P11, Calco P12, Moe Nabs comes home P13, Abhishek P14, Daz Muscles, and our only sole DNF goes to Karubi. Well, Rekez, what's your thoughts on that Grand Prix?
It was a very fun Grand Prix. Austria always delivers, and it's probably one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. A track that wasn't even on the calendar to begin with, and it was kind of thrown in as kind of a last minute replacement for Canada because Canada was found with a few different issues. I think it was concerning penalties, getting penalties in some really weird spots where you get like a 10-second corner pen instead of just like a warning. So, but yeah, I think Austria is a fun track. It should be a staple of the calendar, and overall, it is probably one of my favorite tracks to commentate and to drive on. And this was the last Austrian Grand Prix of the week. Tomorrow we have the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps in Belgium as part of the reserve program. But we're not going just yet because we do have interviews that we're going to go ahead and go on through. So we're going to go ahead and jump on board. Let's see, who are we going to go with? Let's start with Brian currently, who is driver of the day. So, Brian, it was a pretty interesting day for you at Mercedes. You made some really good progress through the field. How would you rate your race overall tonight?
Pretty poor, to be fair. I got caught up in that turn one rubbish as usual. That's being well known for Div 3. I ended up losing about 8 places just after turn one, so that put me on the back foot a bit. Then just had to do the one stop to try and gain as many places as I could. But a few guys, Brad, Hennessy, and a couple others were just too quick on the fresher tyre when they caught up to me again. But yeah, unfortunately, just had to avoid a couple of incidents early, which cost me a lot of time. So driver of the day, not too bad though. The extra point's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of Austria is that you do have the potential to make back a lot of those places. So I mean, it's not like Monaco in 2 weeks' time, where if you get stuck in the back, good luck trying to fight your way back to the front. Next week it is the final specialty race week of the season. It is 100% at Spa. How do you feel going into Belgium next week?
Quite good. I like the 100% races, and Spa's one of my favourite tracks. Not necessarily the fastest there, but it's one I do enjoy doing. So hopefully I can get a bit better result than tonight.
All right, and without any further ado, congratulations on driver of the day. And I'm going to pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Yeah, well done on driver of the day, Brian. Did you feel like you could have had the pace to somewhat battle Huvie and Nishka for the race win?
Definitely. If I had have, you know, not bottled my third run in quali, I probably would have been around P4. and with the one stop, I think probably would have been pretty close to Nishka's pace. He was very quick today, but he drove really well. So not too sure about that, but I think it very possible would have been a double podium.
Yeah. Also, with the specialty race of Spa being 100%, what's your expectations for that specialty race around Spa-Francorchamps?
Well, myself, I'm expecting a top 5 finish. I think that could be on the cards as long as just avoiding some mayhem. But yeah, I think there's plenty of quick guys in this division and very competitive drivers. So somewhere in the top 5, I'd be happy with.
Yeah, well done on Driver of the Day, mate. Go enjoy it and soak it in, I guess. Well done.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, jumping now on to the podium here as we go ahead and get ready for our next interview. It is going to be the Alpine driver of Breadman. So, Bread, some very crucial points for Alpine in general, getting P3 and P4. How would you rate your guys' race tonight?
I was, Jazzy had pace as well behind me. Did the team thing and let me go ahead and work together. But yeah, he had great pace. He found it difficult battling Nishka at the start. I think he said they were just swapping positions a bit. So couldn't hang with the front guys. Fair credit to them. But yeah, we're happy with a 3-4 after last week.
Yeah, that's really crucial points for the championship going forward. So when it comes to just the rest of the season, do you feel confident that you can just hold on to that championship lead?
Yeah, I'd say I'm confident. There's definitely a lot of drivers around, not far behind. Brian's pretty close. Hennessy, Nishka's making his way up. There's a lot of good drivers, so I'm going to have to put the work in, get good results, and go from there, but just one race at a time at the moment.
How do you feel about Spa next week? It's the final 100% Grand Prix, final specialty Grand Prix of the season. How do you feel going around Belgium?
It's going to be a long, grueling race, especially if it rains. Hoping my Liverpool mentality monster gets me through it.
All right, well, congratulations on the podium there, Brad, and I'm going to pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
My boy Breadman, congratulations on the P3. Very crucial points for the constructors, obviously, but a couple of questions. Number one, what's your expectations for the specialty race? 100% Spa, and what's your mentality for that as well?
Results come in, trying.
Your mic cut out, Brad.
Oh.
While he is having some... There we go. I think we got him back.
Oh, am I back? Yep. Sorry about that.
Well, my question was, one, what's your expectations for Spa, 100%, and what's your mentality for that?
I'll just be aiming to get on the podium again. I think I'll be hard to beat. If I do get on there for the championship, it'll be good for overalls and constructors. But yeah, if we can have 2 cars on the podium, I think we'll be pretty happy.
And another one, were you really, pressurized by the sole McLaren of Hennessy? Like, he had a penalty, I get that, but did he make it feel like he didn't have a penalty?
Yeah, me and Jazzy had to work together. He made that difficult race really well. Fair play to him for that. He had a great race, to be honest. Yeah, it was a lot of switching, but yeah, just able to nudge him out and work together with Jazzy Drought, who helped me get the result, get past him and hold him up for me, which was nice. But yeah, fair play to Hennessy.
And last one before I let you go, do you think if you did the one stop instead of the two stop, do you think you could have had enough pace to maybe secure maybe a 2-3 maybe instead of a 3-4?
Um, Great question. I probably needed the undercut with the two stop. I went in early at lap 7, so I think I was sitting about P6 and I came out ahead of everyone else who was in that pack besides the guys on the one stop. So I guess it worked. It made me get 4 positions, and it's hard to overtake with the DRS train that was going on. So I'd say no. I'd say no. I think Nishka was too quick.
Well, congratulations on the podium and your teammate P4 as well. Very, very, very big crucial points coming to the late stages of this championship fight. But mate, congratulations. Go enjoy this one with your team.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to P2, and it is gonna be Hugh. So Hugh, you had a very good recovery drive there. You started P2, got into a bit of a kerfuffle up at in the first lap, dropped down to the last 2 positions, but you fought your way back to P2 on a one stop. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a little unlucky for me. My car was flying several times at the crash, and yeah, I was a little worried at that moment, but Stephen Nick came me down and tried to get back into the podium.
And you definitely succeeded in that. Do you think if you didn't get taken out there in the early stages, do you think you would have had a shot at getting a win here tonight?
Yeah, clearly sure, because if I got my time and I have the pace, I think it's better than Nishka. So if I have a crash, I will win this race.
All right, last question that I have for you before passing you over to Daniel. How do you feel about Spa next week? 100% race. It's a long one, but Spa
Yeah,
is another track kind of similar to Austria.
mm, yeah, I don't, yeah, I don't know, but I think it's pretty fine for me. Be- yeah, pretty fine for me.
All right, congratulations on the recovery drive to P2, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Well, well done on P2 somehow, Hugh. Uh, but do you think you would have deserved driver of the day than Brian? Because you had to fight from the rear of the field, then struggled through the mid part of the race, and then somehow popped up P2. Do you think you deserved driver of the day?
I don't know because I haven't seen Brian in this race, but I have one moment that I thinking that I will be a driver of the day this weekend.
Yeah. One more question for you. Do you have anyone to thank?
In yeah, it's only Symphonic because he came me down on the first lap, so I can continue the race and go to the end.
Well, well done on P2 somehow, Hugh. Go suck this one up because I bet you're going to want to suck this one up somehow. But congratulations on the P2, mate. We'll see you next week for Spa 100%.
Yeah, thank you and see you.
Last but most certainly not least, the driver who took those bottle allegations and threw them straight to the bin, Nishka P1. How do you feel, mate?
Yeah, pretty happy, Wreckers. Pretty happy. Like you said, the bottle allegations. Yeah, I don't listen to that too much, but yeah, I definitely know myself. There's been some points left on the table, so it's good to get some points tonight. It's good.
Yeah, your first win since Las Vegas. And still some really good points for Mercedes. What's the energy in the Mercedes camp heading into Spa next week?
Yeah, it's pretty good now. I think we've had a few wins this week, so it's really pushing us in the right direction going into this sort of last 4 rounds sort of thing. Hopefully, spurs the boys on to keep working hard, and hopefully we can keep trying to chase down the Alpine team. Obviously, Brad, fantastic performance against tonight, put himself on the podium again, so got our work cut out for us. But if we keep doing what we've been doing like this week, yeah, no reason why we can't sort of challenge them towards the end.
All right, so last question before we go ahead and pass you over to Daniel. How do you feel in particular when it comes to the 100% race at Spa next week? How do you think you're going to do there?
I haven't raced at Spa too much, so we'll have to see how I go there. But I do love Spa as a track. It's one of my favourites for the calendar. So yeah, 100% there. I think it's gonna be a test, long lap. So yeah, should be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Spa as well. Like Austria, it's another track that I adore driving and watching. So it'll be a fun week for sure. But congratulations on the race win, and we'll see you in Belgium. Or sorry, Daniel's going to ask you a question or so.
Thanks, Rickers.
Okay. Okay, I'm back. I accidentally unplugged my mic. Yes, well done on the win there, Nishka. First win since Vegas. I bet you want to go party in Vegas right now, but gonna have to just save you for next week. But yeah, very good race by you. Did you? I'm speechless. I just don't have any questions. I'm speechless that you've managed to win. But well done. Yeah, I'm just speechless because I was an Alpine fan for that entire race. But it is what it is. But well done, mate. Go soak this one up. We'll see you next week around Spa.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks.
All right, everybody, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here at Rush Racing League. The Austrian leg is done and dusted. The Red Bull Wings have definitely been tired out, and we have landed, but we are going to go ahead and get ready for Belgium. Another fantastic circuit there. Another very historic track that has been around for several decades under many different layouts and iterations. But before we go, it is going to be one last question. Daniel, how would you rate the race here tonight, mate?
Rate the race out of 10. I would go a. It was chaos at the start with Huview and Abhishek, two of the top running contenders. And then there was no safety cars, no rain. I would have to go. I'm gonna have to go a 6.5. Not a 6.7, because why the hell not?
We're never going to escape those jokes, are we? But I would give the race a solid 8 because we had some good battles. Throughout the field, it was a good time. We saw some really good battling there. Some good recovery drives from Brian, from Huview. Nishka showing some really strong consistency there as well. The Alpines demonstrating excellent teamwork. So overall, a pretty solid race, but that is going to go ahead and wrap things up here in Rush Racing League Div 3 Austria round 14 of the season. A massive thank you to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagany and Advanced Simulation. A massive thank you to Customer Relations and SJ for gifting some Tier 1 subs throughout the stream. And on behalf of Daniel, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. We'll see you guys tomorrow in Belgium for the reserve program. Stay hydrated and have a good night. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.